Hi, everybody. Welcome to week number 11, it looks like. So, week number 11. If you are coming out the other end of the storms, I want to welcome you back. I do hope that the storm, Hurricane Michael, did not cause too much hardship on you. You'll notice I did not post a video last week. If you emailed me last week, you'll notice I didn't get a chance to answer it until Friday. If you've sent me an email since about 3 o'clock on Friday, I've not had a chance to see it yet either. In fact, this video is actually going to be posted a little bit later on Monday because of the fact that while I do have my power restored, which is good news, I don't have my internet restored yet. And the last I heard from Mediacom, it's still maybe a couple more weeks before I get it back because there was so much damage caused by the hurricane. So, what that means is I have to get on the internet whenever I can. I'm going back to my full-time job today, if you're watching this on Monday. And so I have internet there, or at least I should. And so I'll be able to check in from time to time and maybe answer some emails and try to get caught up. Because this storm caused such hardship, I did on Friday manage to get an email out on the D2L email outlining the new deadlines. So, I did answer emails on that day, some of them dating back to like a week prior. I again apologize for not being more receptive, or I'm not sorry about not receptive, more responsive, because it was difficult for me without power and then without internet to actually do my work that I was supposed to do. And because of that, I also know that many of you probably were unable to get your work done because you didn't have power or because you didn't have internet. And so in order to account for that, I have pushed some due dates back. Hopefully by the time you're watching this, you've at least got power, and hopefully you're having better luck with the internet than I am. So I do hope that everybody came out of this safely. I hope that there was no property damage to your homes. I hope that there's no damage to your cars or anything. I hope that whatever hardships this storm caused for you were minimal, and if you did need the extra help, that you were able to get it from wherever you could. So we're going to try and get back to some sense of normal, even though normal is still a relative term, and we aren't quite there yet. At least not all of us are. So the due dates for all week for weeks 9 and 10 are now going to be this upcoming Sunday, the 28th. So that pushes the week 9, I think 2 weeks back, and then week 10, 1 week back, I believe is how that works. Yes. So so that'll be this coming Sunday, the 28th. I know it seems odd to have 2 weeks at the same time, but many of you actually completed your quiz on week 9 already. And if you did not, don't fear not, then I've already extended that for you. It was just the papers that only a couple of you had turned in. And so that part's done. Week 10, you only had the one reading, although it is a bit of a long one. It is Rudyard Kipling. And there are several questions I've asked about that, such as about how the methods which Daniel and Peachy used to conquer Kafiristan are very similar to the methods that the British used to conquer people that they thought were inferior, if you will, particularly in places like India, especially, where India was, a great big subcontinent. It was a nation, but it was like a whole bunch of tribes. It wasn't one united nation. And so England united them pretty much through brute force, in order to conquer India and make it the crown jewel of the British Empire. So Daniel and Peachy in Man Who Would Be King used those same methods with gunpowder and with uniting tribes and things of that nature. There was also, I believe, a question in there about Freemasonry. There is Rudyard Kipling himself was a Freemason, and some of the symbolism and some of the ceremony that occurs in The Man Who Would Be King very much mirrors what the Freemasons are. People say, "Oh, he's got a code word on a train." Why does our narrator feel like he needs to send the code word to the next person? Well, it turns out it's because they're all Freemasons, and Freemasons, by their very nature, take care of each other, and they know the code words, and they know how to use them to their advantage. Although If you watch closely as you read this, Daniel and Peachy may be Freemasons, but they're not really high-ranking Freemasons. They know the ceremony and the code words up to a certain level, and then that's as far as they're allowed to learn them, because you don't learn new ones till you get to new levels. So that's part of it. And I know there were a couple of other questions in there that appealed. So you just got that one reading. It's a bit of a long reading. The quiz is only 5 questions. But even though the quiz is only 5 questions, you have to have read the story in order to get them all right. And then you can answer the question on the paper. So that's what's due by this week. And then, of course, the Victorian exam. That covers everything from Alfred Lord Tennyson down to Rudyard Kipling. And so everything basically in volume E that we have read. And then next week, and not everybody had gotten caught up yet, so I think I'm going to wait until next week to discuss weeks 11 and 12, which are going to be the beginning of the 20th century. So we're starting to get into more, I won't say contemporary yet, because nobody that fought in World War I is still alive as far as I know, but we're going to start getting into the 20th century and writers that may be more familiar to you because they were alive more recently than the writers that we've actually been reading. And we're going to finish up this semester with Oscar Wilde, but the thing we read prior to Oscar Wilde is going to be by a guy named Salman Rushdie, who, by the way, is still alive. So as we get to these 21st century readings, you're going to be happy to know that not everybody you're going to be reading in this book is dead yet. So that'll be a good thing. So anyway, focus on finishing up that Victorian part. If you are far enough ahead that you can start looking at the 20th century, by all means do so. I don't feel bad about giving you 2 weeks on that in the first section, because they're all short poems. So that'll be something that you can handle. But again, I hope that everything's starting to turn normal for you again. I hope that this storm did not impact you too badly. And I look forward to coming down the home stretch and finishing strong this semester.